The most romantic, mystical, artistic full moon of the year is happening May 23rd, a full moon in Sagittarius. Hello, I'm Eliane Nicole, your astrologer and tarot reader, and in this video, I am going to talk about the full moon of Sagittarius coming up this Thursday. And full moons happen every month, so they are not watershed astrological events. They are also fairly short-term transits that last 2 or 3 days, but they always bring illumination and culmination to a certain area of our chart. Now, the moon rules the populace, the people, and so you're always going to feel the energy of the full moon out and about in the streets, in public, anywhere that you're interacting with others. But it becomes very personal to you and your chart when it matches by degree one of your personal planets. This particular full moon in Sagittarius is perfecting at 2 degrees Sagittarius. And so if you have any personal planets at 2, 3, 4, the early degrees of Sagittarius, or any of the mutable signs such as Virgo, Pisces, or Gemini, it's going to be very personal to you. And if you have planets in the early degrees of any of the fire signs, it's going to be hugely inspirational and motivational for you in these areas of love and artistry and romance and mysticism. And every year there's a Sagittarius full moon, but this one is so particularly beautiful and buoyant because, well, it's ruled by Jupiter, who's the planet of grace and good fortune. And so the moon always loves to be in a sign ruled by such beautiful and lofty concepts. But as this particular full moon of Sagittarius of 2024 perfects, Jupiter, the great benefic, is coming into a conjunction with Venus, the goddess of love and beauty, at the 29th degree of Taurus. And so there's this beautiful seeding point happening around these beautiful lofty topics, Jupiterian topics like morality and higher truth and philosophy and, international travel, and then all the Venusian topics like art and beauty and love. And Jupiter and Venus are forming a sextile with Neptune, and Neptune has to do with the oneness that connects us all, and healing and spirituality and mysticism. So there's all of these things coming together, all of these gorgeous, beautiful, romantic, it's definitely, I think, one of my favorite full moons of the year, and one of my favorite full moons that I've seen in a long time. And I feel like it's illuminating and culminating just a really beautiful higher love energy in a time where humanity needs it so much. And I think we're going to see beautiful contributions in creativity and art and healing, spirituality, religion, for the collective. But for some of us in our personal lives, it's going to bring forth these themes on a very personal level. And so it's a great time to look at your chart. Contact me for a reading if you have any planets in the early degrees of Sagittarius, or any of the mutable signs, or any of the fire signs. But again, even though it perfects at the wee hours of the morning, at the crack of dawn and on the West Coast, adjust for your time zone accordingly. The energy carries out for a couple of days, and there's a couple of waves to it. As it perfects, it's sextile Pluto and Aquarius, which is a very collective energy, which has to do with a power to the people, love to the people, a mystical force that's driving, the revolution forward, which is really beautiful. There is a sense of, on the second day of the full moon, as it's kind of continuing, a second wave brings the trine to the North Node in Aries, which is, the collective North Star is is looking at what's best for the oneness of humanity. You know, there's a lot of compassion, a lot of generosity, a lot of empathy that's being brought forth at this full moon. It's square Saturn in Pisces, and so there is, you know, it can be, you know, very heightened emotions. There can be, you know, very heightened sensitivities. There can be, you know, difficulty with emotional boundaries during this time, and difficulty with a challenge to our emotional maturity and our, because there is so much idealism that's happening, you know, thinking beyond what is real in the here and now. How can we break through and create new realities? And it's also trine Mars, the North Node in Aries. So there is this, you know, fighting for higher ideals, fighting for the vision, fighting for the greater vision for humanity. And it is a time where, if in the past you have, you know, pulled the, you know, Sagittarius rules the archer. And so it's, if you have pulled the bow and taken aim, this is a full moon where you may hit your target of what the bigger vision was, of what the dream was, and or is. And it's trine Neptune again, so it's like about higher love and higher truth and universal love. And it's a really beautiful, mystical, romantic energy in general. And gosh, whenever I do these videos, I don't like to write them, because whenever I try to write and read a teleprompter, I sound very robotic and unreal. So I just study the astrology, and then I just come from the heart when I give these readings. But part of the reason that I give these free offerings is because I want to encourage you to contact me for a one-on-one reading. That's how astrology works the best, when you work one-on-one with an astrologer, because when two people meet with your chart, the oracle meets us, the divine meets us, and it brings forth things that you need to hear in that moment, in that hour that we have together. So please contact me for a reading. If you're following me on YouTube, my email is down in the notes of my YouTube channel. If you're following me on Instagram, well, if you're seeing this on Instagram, make sure that you follow me at astrology.tarot.Eliane Nicole, and then please hit the contact button under my profile bio, and then you can email me to get on the schedule. But yes, higher love, higher truth, romance, mysticism, art, creativity. And, you know, it may be a time when you are feeling attracted to romantic movies or art or songs. All of these things can be brought forth by this full moon, even if it's not something that's happening, say, in your personal life. It might be, you might receive it from the art you're taking in, or the books you're reading, the movies you're watching, the songs you're listening to. But in general, for artists, it's a great time for the creative process. And for lovers, it's a beautiful time for the expression of love and for the connecting of lovers and romantic partners. So enjoy this beautiful energy. Again, full moons, they just bloom over 3 days. It's kind of like, imagine like the flowers in your vase, you know, they don't stay alive forever, but it is bringing forth something very beautiful and romantic. And thank you for joining me for this reading, and I hope to be reading for you personally soon. Happy full moon in Sagittarius.